Another worldwide preview from UNICEF observes that the weight of HIV is falling excessively on juvenile young ladies and kids in certain regions of the world. Kids are basically becoming tainted with HIV by contracting it from frequently juvenile age moms who have obtained the illness because of various entwining factors. Kids and young people matured 19 years and underrepresent only 7% of those with HIV. Yet they make up 15% of the individuals who bite the dust from HELPS-related illness. Generally speaking, the rate of HIV has tumbled from what it used to be worldwide. Notwithstanding, a new and disturbing worldwide depiction from UNICEF views that as for juvenile young ladies and kids in numerous areas, the emergency continues. It represents the passings of 99,000 juvenile young ladies and kids from causes connected with HELPS, or Stage 3 HIV, the most progressive and extreme phase of disease with this infection in 2022. Especially impacted are young adult young ladies and kids from birth to 19 years in Eastern and Southern Africa. The regions next most impacted are West and Focal Africa, East Asia and the Pacific, Latin America and the Caribbean, and South Asia. It is inadmissible that young adult young ladies, who ought to design their prospects, keep on bearing the heaviest weight of HIV disease. Anurita Baines, UNICEF partner, head of HIV or HELPS, in a public statement. Inadequate admittance to HIV treatment for youngsters. In the impacted regions, treatment for more youthful individuals falls a long ways behind the choices accessible to grown-ups. Albeit the 0 to 19 years age bunch involves only 7% of those living with HELPS, they represent 15% of all passings from the sickness. The report likewise takes note of an absence old enough proper antiretroviral prescription for individuals in this age bunch, albeit this might change. In lower and center pay countries, an absence of normalized and promptly accessible testing is hampering endeavors to address the emergency. UNICEF likewise depicts a lumbering symptomatic cycle for the youthful as keeping down endeavors to help those contaminated with HIV. UNICEF says this is among the reasons that only 57% of those matured 0 to 14 years are getting retroviral treatment, contrasted with the 77% of more seasoned youths from 15 to 19 who are. A big part of those not getting treatment live in Eastern and Southern Africa. For what reason is HIV on the ascent among little kids? Jennifer Arney, Senior Specialized Guide at Phi 360, a worldwide association advancing general well-being, who was not engaged with the UNICEF report, addressed Clinical News today about its discoveries. She let us know that adolescent young ladies and young ladies in sub-Saharan Africa are considerably more prone to procure HIV than their male companions because of different interrelated risk factors which add to expanded weakness. According to her, these factors include early start to their sexual life, intergenerational sexual relationships, high socioeconomic vulnerability, transactional sex, early marriages, low levels of education and schooling, orientation-related power and even characters and viciousness, an absence of accessibility of juvenile and youth-responsive administrations. Dr. Tatiana Vasilyeva of UC Irvine's Division of Populace Well-Being and Sickness Anticipation, not engaged with the UNICEF report, cleared up for meant that sexual savagery, and especially cozy accomplice viciousness, frequently jeopardizes young ladies. HIV among juvenile young ladies and young ladies from 10 to 24 years old is north of 3 times higher than among guys of similar age, says the UNICEF depiction. Young ladies, said Dr. Vasilyeva, are at higher gamble for HIV than different gatherings in southern African nations. She referred to accomplices who are many years more established in age and subsequently have longer lifetime openness to HIV. Arney further noticed that, indeed, even where fitting and conscious sexual and regenerative well-being administrations exist, Juvenile young ladies and young ladies are frequently uninformed about accessible administrations, unfit to access because of distance or center hours, or reluctant to look for care due to worries around secrecy or judgment and unfortunate treatment by suppliers who might oppose them participating in sex. Indeed, even where instructive open doors exist, said Dr. Caterina Casalini, Senior Specialized Guide in Clinical Administrations at Phi 360, not associated with the report. Schule responsibility, correspondence with teachers and negative educator mentalities, likewise, play a dissuading job in uncovering HIV status and getting to treatment. Unfortunate admittance to sex training and conceptive consideration additionally add to young ladies' weaknesses to HIV, added Dr. Vasilyeva. Once in care, nonetheless, ladies in southern African countries are entirely better at remaining in care and subsequently be virally stifled once analyzed, she noted. HIV in youngsters. The World Well-Being Association (WHO) says trusted source that there were an expected 1.8 million youngsters matured 0 to 14 years living with HIV toward the finish of 2019, with 150,000 kids recently tainted. Without better admittance to analyses and treatment, says the WHO, half of youngsters with HIV will pass on before they are 2 years of age, with 80% not living to see their 5th birthday celebration. Over 90% of instances of experience growing up HIV contaminations are because of transmission from tainted moms during pregnancy, labor, or breastfeeding. HIV hits kids especially hard, since their young and vulnerable frameworks can't battle contaminations also as those of grown-ups can. These youngsters experience different ensuing medical problems, including ear and sinus contaminations, sepsis, pneumonias, tuberculosis, urinary plot contaminations, digestive ailment, skin sickness, and meningitis. The WHO prescribes that babies brought into the world to moms living with HIV ought to be tried by 2 months old enough during breastfeeding. And furthermore, while the breastfeeding stage closes, taking into account the preceded with transmission risk. Procedures to battle adolescents' HIV. As per Dr. Casalini, decentralized treatment, circulation, and remote or virtual help conveyance procedures have demonstrated to find lasting success. Nonetheless, frequently arrangements are not carried out at scale, neither with loyalty or methodically, and nations are tested with lacking assets to handle the holes along the HIV overflow, and the need to find efficiencies while focusing on juvenile young ladies, she told us. In any case, Dr. Casalini noticed a brilliant spot not too far off: integrase inhibitor dolutegraverded source DTG, which has shown guarantee in preliminaries and can be managed at HIV patients only a month old. There are, Dr. Casalini said, promising true information among youngsters and youths living with HIV, matured 0 to 19 years of age who got DTG from 2017 to 2020 out of 6 Eastern and Southern Africa, Botswana, Eswatini, Lesotho, Malawi, Tanzania, and Uganda. That's what Vasilyeva added. Treatment stays the best counteraction procedure, as it decreases local area viral burden, since imperceptible means untransmittable. Individuals in treatment can't communicate HIV to their accomplices, she underlined.